Welcome back to my channel What If Naruto. This what if on What If Naruto Marries Tsunade Part 2. The like goal for this video is 40 likes. Sooner the like goal is meets sooner I will upload the next part for this what if. Disclaimer, I don't own Naruto nor this what if. 10 days later Naruto and company were jumping through the trees as they ran to the fire daimyo's place. Everyone wanted to get there before Danzo got twice to their idea. As they all rushed through the trees, Tsunade was feeling like a weight had been dropped from her shoulders. She was seeing Naruto chat with Hinata as they all ran through the trees. Ah, well that solves my problem, she thought as they hit the ground and decided to walk. Hinata was the perfect for Naruto. She was cute, shy, and most importantly she was his own age. Naruto talked to her like nothing was wrong. He could see Tsunade was happy at the sight and felt a pain to his chest. I guess with me and Hinata, she won't have to worry about these absurd feelings we both have for each other, he said as he put up a fake smile in front of Hinata as they walked. Everyone to say the least was happy to be out of the village. It was a regular downpour and it couldn't have been the same village they grew up in. So exactly how long until we reach the fire daimyo's location? Shikamaru asked as they all walked towards the country. Tsunade turned to look at him. It is about another 5 days, she said as her face lit up the group. She had never been so happy to finally have all of her problems solved. She thanked Kami for Hinata and the group. Naruto noticed her action and became very bitter. He couldn't believe that she was happy to be over that incident with them. He felt a big pain in his chest as he gripped it tightly like he was trying to breathe. Everyone looked to see Naruto in some pain as he fell to the ground. "Oh Naruto-kun, Naruto-kun," Hinata yelled as everyone turned around. Everyone saw Naruto on the ground with a problem in his heart. Everyone rushed up to Naruto as he tried to stand. Tsunade ran over to Naruto worried. Naruto, what's wrong?" she said as put her hand on him to heal him. Naruto noticed her action and swatted her hand away and quickly got up and dusted himself off. "I am fine, thank you, now let's go," he said as he walked ahead of the group. Everyone thought he was fine as they got up and decided to walk. Tsunade shrugged off the sign as she walked behind the group. As the group headed to a crossroad, Naruto felt a chill in the air. "Everyone wait a second," he said as he smelled the air. He was acting like Kiba, but thanks to the Kyuubi, his smell was more accurate and sensitive. He could smell the vests of Konoha ninja as they were arriving at the crossroad. Naruto turned to the group. I think that Konoha has figured out our plan," he said as Neji used his Byakugan again to confirm Naruto's claim. He saw 11 enemy ninja as they were at the crossroads. "Naruto's right, we can't go to the fire daimyo's place," Neji said as Naruto chose the alternate route that lead to Lighting Country. As Tsunade came up to the group, she noticed Naruto took the alternate route and decided it was the best decision given the circumstances of the situation. "Alright everyone, let's take Naruto's way," she said to them. Everyone nodded as they went the opposite way of their destination. After 20 minutes, the Konoha ninja came and looked at the map. "Okay, the fire daimyo's place is this way," one of them said as they continued the route to the country. Having left in the opposite direction, Naruto and company could now breathe easy as they had avoided unnecessary combat with Konoha. As they walked to a town, Tsunade looked at Naruto who was still clutching his heart. He was in pain, but tried to bear it. He didn't need anyone worrying about him, especially not Tsunade right now. As Tsunade walked up to Naruto, she placed her hand on his shoulder. I circumflex inverted exclamation mark browse just in community forum beta story search anime, manga, /anime/ I circumflex, Naruto, /anime/Naruto/ I circumflex inverted exclamation mark F plus I circumflex inverted exclamation mark F, I circumflex inverted exclamation mark F I circumflex inverted exclamation mark Sadilla I circumflex inverted exclamation mark I circumflex inverted exclamation mark S Naruto are you? She was interrupted by him shrugging her off his shoulder. Tsunade was surprised at the action. Naruto looked back at her as he replied. I am fine, let's just drop it, he said as he went back to talk to Hinata and the group. Everyone had an interesting conversation as they talked about what happened in the past few days. Tsunade had a look of confusion on her face as she was walking. All of Naruto's actions to her were so different from the usual. Why do I get the feeling he is avoiding me? She thought to herself as she looked behind her to see the blonde having a chat with the Hyuga. Tsunade clutched her heart as she saw Naruto smiling with Hinata. She didn't understand what was wrong. She thought that having this group would solve all of their problems. She saw how Naruto's smile that was once directed at her was now on the Hyuga chick. This doesn't feel right, I don't know what to think anymore, she said to herself as everyone arrived at the town. Tsunade turned to the group as they stopped in the middle of the streets. Alright everyone, we will stop here for today and continue our travels tomorrow. We will meet up at 8 p.m. for dinner at a restaurant, she said as everyone gave a nod of understanding and scattered. Naruto walked alone as he looked around the town. He saw a few weapon shops and some bars. It was just a run-of-the-mill kind of town. As Naruto came into a restaurant to get something to drink, he clutched his heart that still had him in pain. Why damn it! What is this pain in my chest? He thought to himself as he received his drink. He put the glass to his lips as he took a drink. The drink was sweet to the lips as he continued to drink. His heart slowly calmed down as he finished his drink. He gave a sigh of relief as he sat at the table some more. He began thinking about the day he had. It was going horrible as he put his head on the table. Man, I hate this day, he said as he sat there. After 20 more minutes of thought at the table, Naruto looked at the time. He saw it was almost time for dinner with the others at the restaurant that Tsunade mentioned. As he lifted his head off the table, he left the bar and went to the designated area for everyone's meal. As he walked in, he saw everyone sitting down at 3 opposite tables. He saw a seat reserved for him next to Shizune, while Jiraiya sat next to Tsunade. Naruto grumbled a little, because he didn't want to deal with Tsunade right now, but he had no choice. He sat down next to Shizune and said a quick hello to the two as he sat. Alright, you both are here, let me explain, he said as he turned to Naruto, then Tsunade. Basically, Konoha now wants both of you dead. It seems that you can't get to the fire daimyo without encountering some resistance from Konoha, he said as he took a sip of his drink. Tsunade rubbed her temples as she looked across from her. She saw Naruto with a non-caring reaction as he listened to Jiraiya's report. Tsunade didn't want to see him like that. She looked at him. Where had the kind boy that she had come to see go? Tsunade couldn't understand Naruto. He would talk regularly with others, but now with her he was being so distant. What could it be? Why is he avoiding me? She wondered as Jiraiya finished giving his report. Tsunade nodded as she did pay attention to Jiraiya's report, but was just interested in Naruto at the moment. Naruto and Shizune were having a good conversation as he saw Jiraiya make a move at Tsunade. He saw Tsunade eating as Jiraiya inched closer to her. Naruto was getting more and more angry. He felt that he should do something, but was too hesitant to act. He saw his sensei give a perverted smile as his hand inched closer to her chest. Tsunade jumped at the action as she saw Jiraiya on her chest. Wow, so soft, he said as he rubbed them. Tsunade was growing a vein as she saw a kunai head between her and Jiraiya. She instantly moved out of the way as the kunai pierced the couch she was sitting on. She turned to see Naruto through the kunai between them. Fuming, Jiraiya shouted at Naruto. You damn breath, why did you interrupt me? He shouted at Naruto as he drew the attention of some of the genin who were eating. Maybe if you stopped being a pervert for once, you might actually do good, he said to his sensei. Everyone wondered what this was about as they looked at Naruto. Trying to calm Naruto down, Tsunade spoke to him. Naruto, just leave him alone, everyone knows he is a pervert, she said with a smile. Her intentions had the opposite effect of what she wanted as Naruto looked even more mad than before. Well, I don't see you resisting him at all, Bat-chan, he said to her. Tsunade had a look of confusion on her face. What is wrong with you, Naruto? She asked as she tried to understand. Naruto got up out of his seat and left the table. Oh, screw this, just let him do whatever to you, I don't care, he said as he ran out the door. Jiraiya got up and positioned himself on the couch. Tsunade immediately got up and ran after Naruto. The two let an awkward silence between Shizune and Jiraiya as they tried to finish their meals. The rookie 9 almost left after them if not for Shizune with a nod telling them to sit. Somewhere on a hill above the town. Damn it, Tsunade, why do you allow this? Naruto thought as he sat at the edge of the hill. My heart hurts, damn it, why is everything like this with you? He shouted to himself. As he calmed down, he heard a rustle behind him as he turned around to see the blonde woman walking up to him. His face turned red as he got up and turned to leave. As he walked past Tsunade, she grabbed his arm and refused to let him go. Naruto struggled, but she was too strong and gave in. Naruto, what is the matter with you? Tsunade wondered as she tried to talk to Naruto. Naruto couldn't look her in the eyes as his heart kept taking from every glance he got of her. Nothing is wrong, now let me go, he demanded as he tried to avoid her gaze. Tsunade wouldn't let this go without an explanation. No, Naruto, I want to know what is going on in your head, she commanded. Naruto was losing his patience and managed to break from Tsunade's grip and turned to face her. You want to know what is going on inside my head? Fine, I tease you, you are the one who keeps entering my mind, he yelled as he looked at her. Tsunade was shocked at his yelling as he continued. All of this, I hate it all, my heart, your smiles, I hate everything about this, he said, letting out his anger. But what do you hate? She asked, trying to understand. I don't know, I just hate this, my heart hurts, it feels like it will burst and I can't control it, every time I see you this happens, he shouted. As he shouted, he clenched his chest to calm his beating heart. Here is a question, how do you really feel about me, Tsunade? He asked her. Tsunade was startled at the question. She tried all her might to avoid this situation, yet it came about. Well, Naruto, I don't know, she said as she held her head down. Really, you don't know, oh my goodness, I can't believe this, he said as he let his anger out over the hill. Why don't you know? I might not know either, but at least I wasn't trying to set you up with someone to forget my feelings, he said to her. Tsunade now knew. The distance, the behavior, the attitude, it was all from her smiling that she didn't have to feel the way she was at the time. Do I mean so little to you, Tsunade, that you would try to set me up with someone and not try to sort out our feelings? He shouted. But Naruto, the way, she was interrupted by Naruto. I know the way I am feeling is wrong, but why is it wrong? I don't get it, I hate this, you make my heart ache, he said to her. Tsunade was absorbing every word he was uttering. He couldn't take it anymore and decided to risk it. Damn it, Tsunade, I love you, okay, he yelled at her. Tsunade was more than shocked at that statement. Naruto continued. I don't know why I do, but I do, I love you, it feels crazy, he said as he walked up to her. Tsunade had never been in such a position before. Trying her best to speak, she replied. Naruto, I mean we can't, I just don't know, Tsunade said as she looked at him. Naruto looked at her and laughed. I see, so that is how this is, he said as he walked past her. Naruto, my heart aches too, she said to him. Naruto stopped walking and turned around to see Tsunade gripping her chest. I am sorry, Naruto, I didn't want to know these feelings, I just can't see you that way, I am just not sure of this, she said as she held her head down. Naruto clutched his heart as he turned back around. As he walked away, Tsunade saw tears fall down his eyes. Tsunade didn't want this. All she wanted was for Naruto to find someone else. She fell to her knees as she cried. She looked up to see Naruto hurt from his chest. She ran up to Naruto. Naruto, at least let me heal your heart, she said as she walked up to him. Naruto got up and for the second time swatted her head away. Just leave me alone, Tsunade, you seem to care more about what society thinks than your own feelings, he said as he walked off. Naruto just wanted to get away from Tsunade before his heart jumped out from his chest. He walked as if he was crippled as he went back to the town. Tsunade fell to the ground crying. I am so sorry, Naruto, I didn't want this, I am so sorry, she said as wrapped herself around her shoulders and cried some more. Tsunade now knew that she made a mistake, she didn't take Naruto's feelings into consideration when she thought about setting him up. All she did was give Naruto more hurt and sorrow. Naruto has now confessed to Tsunade, but she rejects him. Naruto is now upset and Tsunade is sad. Is this love impossible after all? 1 hour later, Naruto stormed back to the restaurant still clutching his heart as he tried to calm it down. The talk he had with Tsunade wasn't a good one as he had been in a bitter mood from the beginning to the end of their talk. As he made it back to the town, Naruto walked up to the restaurant. Man, I don't want to deal with questions of what happened earlier right now, he said to himself as he walked in. Everyone immediately turned to face him as he walked up to Shizune. He didn't bother looking at all of the glares he was getting from his friends and his mentor. Shizune-chan, where is the place where everyone will be staying? He asked her with a serious face. Shizune had many questions for Naruto, but seeing the state he was in, she decided to ask later. Oh, it is in the eastern part of town, Hotel Shinjuku, she replied. Thank you, I am going to bed, he said as he bowed and walked off. Everyone watched until the blonde was out of sight. Everyone had questionable looks on their faces. What do you think happened between Naruto and Tsunade? Hinata asked the others. I'm not sure, but it must be bad. I can't imagine what those two just talked about. I wonder if it had to do with them leaving the village, probably, but why was Naruto holding his chest so tight while he talked? Hey, you guys don't think? I would highly doubt it. Everyone debated on the talk that could have transpired between Naruto and Tsunade. After everyone finished their meals, everyone turned to leave. As they left, they saw a red-eyed blonde that appeared in front of the restaurant. Teased Tsunade-sama, what is the matter? Everyone asked as they saw Tsunade trying to stop her crying. I have done something unforgivable to Naruto, she said as she couldn't bear to talk anymore and decided to go to the hotel. Everyone was now very interested. They wanted to know what was going between the two. Even Shizune and Jiraiya were interested in this one. As the people came together, they discussed a plan of action. Surprisingly, Shizune came up with a fantastic idea. Okay everyone, here is what we do. Next day at 12 p.m. everyone woke up in their respective rooms as they all got dressed. As everyone headed out of the hotel, they began to walk along the road as an unbearable silence came over the group. As everyone walked, they could see or rather feel the distance Naruto and Tsunade were putting between themselves. These two were usually the life of a conversation, but no, it was hard to talk about anything. Neji leaned into the group of Jonin minus Naruto. Guys, please do something, this silence is disturbing, he said to them. Everyone agreed with him as they looked at the two. Shizune-san, we put this plan into action? They asked her. Soon everyone, soon, she said to them. After 2 hours of unbearable silence, Shizu nodded at the group. Everyone finally felt happy to do something. As they came up to the next town, the guys ran up to Naruto. "Oh Naruto, there is a new town, let's explore," Kiba said to a depressed Naruto. Naruto looked at Kiba and tried to smile, but couldn't and just nodded. All of the other guys grabbed Naruto as they ran to explore the town. The girls walked up to Tsunade, who appeared exhausted even though everyone had a good night's sleep except Naruto and Tsunade. "Tsunade-sama, let's go to the town too, we all need new clothes," Ino said to her. Tsunade snapped out of her daze and looked at Ino. "Alright, let's go," she said as they all ran to the nearest store. The town was normal. It had the standard houses and shops that towns normally have. Nothing spectacular about it. The guys took Naruto to the many different food stores to try and lighten the mood, but to no avail could they. Naruto just didn't feel like doing anything, he just wanted to be left alone to sort out his feelings. "Guys, I know what you're trying to do, but it won't work, I just want to be alone," he said as he walked off into the direction they planned. "All is going according to plan, Yahoo! Let's keep it up," they said as they followed him. Naruto turned to a store and decided to go in. He looked around but no one was there. He felt the cool breeze of the air conditioning as he looked around. He turned to see various tools and scrolls for standard ninja use. "I guess they're closed," he said, "but why is the place open?" He wondered as he looked around some more. "Would the girls hate Tsunade-sama? How is this?" Ino said as she lifted up a shirt for Tsunade. "Oh, it's cute, look, sorry girls, I know what you are doing, but leave me alone," Tsunade said as she walked off. Everyone smiled as they followed her. Tsunade walked into a shop and looked around. She could see various tools and scrolls for ninja use, but as she turned her head, she saw a small blonde looking around. It was the person she would rather avoid. The blonde turned around to leave, but saw that the door was shut. She tried to open the door but it seemed to be locked. "No, not now," she said as she tried to open the door to no avail. Naruto turned around to see Tsunade at the door struggling to get it open. "What are you doing?" he asked as he looked at her. Tsunade answered without facing him. She couldn't handle his face at the moment. "We're locked and the door is jammed," she said to him. Naruto ran to the doors and tried to open them, but they were really stuck. "You have got to be kidding, and the damn air conditioning is on," he said to her. Tsunade could feel the cold breeze on her skin. "Oh, this is not good, I guess we will wait here for the owner to return," she said as she sat on the floor. Naruto couldn't believe his luck, the one person he was trying to avoid, he ended up being stuck with for who knows how long. Outside of the shop, everyone was looking at Jiraiya as he pumped chakra into the walls. "There now, those two can't get out until they compromise whatever is bothering them," he said as everyone put their ears to the walls. There was nothing but silence as the two sat on opposite ends of each other. Neither could look the other in the eyes. After the conversation last night, neither had the urge to speak either. 45 minutes later, nothing but silence. 2 hours later, still no words. Everyone couldn't believe they were being so silent. To spend 2 hours together without a word was something astounding. After 15 more minutes, everyone heard Tsunade speak. "Damn it, it's starting to get a little too cold," she said to herself as tried to warm herself up. She managed to get a glance at Naruto. He was feeling the cold also. He was a little jittery as the air conditioning was on its maximum setting and didn't have a knob to turn it off. Naruto looked up at Tsunade and saw she was getting cold also. He muttered to himself as he looked at her. He seemed to convince himself of something as he got up. He walked over to Tsunade and took off the top half of his orange jumpsuit. "Here, Tsunade," he said to her. She looked up to see him handing her his jacket. His face was still turned away from hers because he was still a little mad and sad at the same time. She grabbed the jacket and wrapped it around her body. It felt warm as she received warmth from it. It made her blush that she had accepted such a gesture. Coming back to herself, Tsunade looked away from Naruto in shame. Naruto noticed the action and laughed a little. To think one conversation turned into this, he said more to himself than her, but due to the small space she still heard him. Sighing, Tsunade decided to talk. Naruto, we need to talk about last night, she said to him. Shocked in her speech, Naruto turned to her. What is there to talk about? I confess to you, you rejected me, and we got here, end of story, he said to her. Outside the shop, what did he just say? Everyone stuttered, trying to process the received information. He confessed to Tsunade-sama, Shizune said as everyone backed away from the shop. Jiraiya made everyone calm down as they all started to listen in. Back inside the shop, that is not the end, Naruto. I said I didn't know how to deal with these feelings. I never rejected you, she said to him. Seeing as how you tried to set me up with Hinata-chan, I would say that is rejecting me loud and clear, Naruto said as he tried to warm himself up. No, that wasn't my intention, nor was this, she said to him. So what is your intention? Was it to let me off easy or just ignore me until I found something else? He asked her. It was nothing like that, our ages are just too far apart, Naruto. If I was a lot younger, I am sure I wouldn't have to think this hard, she said. So age is what concerns you? He asked. Yes, that is the main reason, but my feelings for you are very mixed right now, Naruto, she said with her head down. Naruto noticed she was in as much distress as he was. He didn't try to see how she felt. She was obviously conflicted by the emotions too, but she tried to handle them. He got up and walked over to Tsunade. Tsunade-chan, he said, which caused her to look up. And Naruto-kun? She said as she looked to see his face coming closer to hers. She wanted to stop him, but something in her head made her resist as Naruto's lips meet hers. To Naruto, her lips were surprisingly soft and sweet. As he tried to deepen the kiss, he could feel his body growing hotter from the feeling he was having. Tsunade was still in shock over the kiss. Tsunade now knew her feelings, she could the others, but she can't trick herself. She had fallen in love with Naruto. He had opened her heart to the possibility of the two. Soon memories of her brother and her lover entered her head. Before Tsunade submitted to the kiss, she backed away from Naruto and broke the passionate connection between the two. Using every ounce of her power, Tsunade broke through the house and ran off. As she ran off, she mumbled something that only Naruto could hear. I am sorry, Naruto, I just can't, I am so sorry, she said to him. Naruto, still confused, got up and walked out of the store. Damn it, why is this so hard? He said to himself as he walked off, oblivious to the people who were listening in on the conversation. Everyone looked at each other and decided it was too much of a headache to discuss and chose to discuss what happened at a later date as everyone went to explore the town some more. What a day for everyone! Can Naruto get Tsunade? Or is Tsunade out of his league? 15 minutes later, Tsunade was running through the streets with her hands covering her face. Even though she covered her, people knew she was crying. As she stopped at near a block of the town, she laid on the ground. Why, I don't know what to do, I love him, I now know I love him, but what do I do? Tsunade wondered as she cried in her arms. Tsunade knew she couldn't deny her feelings. The blonde genin had come into her heart and now she came to enjoy his presence. She loved everything about him. What scared her wasn't the fact that she loved him, she sort of coped with that, but what scared her is that she wanted to go further and explore the possibilities of a relationship with him and her. Why did you have to do that, Naruto? That kiss has now weakened me to such a state, Tsunade said to herself as she tried to stand. Unknown to her, Shizune ran after her and soon caught up. "Tsunade-sama, are you okay?" she said as she saw Tsunade struggling to stand to her feet. "Oh Shizune, I am fine, don't worry," Tsunade said quickly, wiping the tears from her eyes. Shizune didn't buy her act for even a second. After hearing their conversation, she knew now what was troubling them both. "Wow, love truly has no bounds, does it?" she asked herself as she looked at Tsunade. She gave Tsunade a hug that made the blonde look shocked at the act. Shizune decided no matter how immoral it was to society, she would get Naruto and Tsunade together. "Tsunade-sama, would you like to talk about whatever is bothering you?" she asked honestly. Tsunade looked up and smiled. She was glad to have someone to listen to her, though she wondered if Shizune could believe it, which she could since she heard it for herself. "Thank you Shizune, I would like that, let's go back to a hotel then," she said as Shizune nodded and followed her. Meanwhile with Naruto, "Stupid, stupid, stupid," he said to himself as he walked the streets. "I practically lunged at her in there," she said. She was confused. "I just wanted to confirm something, but why did I do it then?" he wondered as he walked. As he walked he ran into Shikamaru, who gave him a good hello. "Oh hi Shikamaru," Naruto said with his head down. Shikamaru noticed Naruto wasn't his hyperactive self. "Naruto man, what is the matter with you?" he asked. In truth, he knew what was wrong, but to hear it from Naruto himself was a bit better. What are you talking about, man?" "Nothing is wrong," Naruto said as he walked away. Shikamaru pondered his idea and what he was about to do. Rubbing his head, he sighed. "Man, this is going to be a drag," he said as he did his shadow possession jutsu on Naruto. He made the blonde freeze in place and he turned him around to face him. "Well, if nothing is wrong you won't mind talking about it," he said as he manipulated the blonde to a hotel. As they walked Naruto tried to fight the shadow but he knew it was no use. As they walked both were in utter silence. 13 minutes later Naruto and Tsunade arrived at the hotel at the exact same time. Both walked as they looked at each other from across the entrance. A huge blush came to both as they instantly looked away from each other. Feeling the awkward silence, Tsunade turned to Shizune. Well Shizune, let's go inside," she said as she walked inside the hotel. She moved so fast that Shizune was left coughing at some of the dust that Tsunade had kicked up. Naruto looked at Shikamaru. Well, since you dragged me out here, let's go," he said as he ran inside also. Shikamaru rubbed his head and he looked at Shizune. Both inched closer together and whispered. "Is this really going to work Shizune?" Shikamaru asked. Even the lazy genius couldn't figure this plan out. "Yeah, trust me, Operation Impossible couple pairing is a go," Shizune said as his eyes flared up. Shikamaru yawned. "That name is weird, but let's get this over with," he said as they gave each other a thumbs up and went inside. Back in Konoha, Danzo was frantic around the office. He had lost track of Naruto and Tsunade. Both did not appear at the fire Deimos like he thought. His ninja said that they waited for 6 days, but nothing happened. "Damn it, where did they go?" Danzo said as he looked at the map. He was clearly getting frustrated at losing the 2 ex-Konoha ninja. To make matters worse, he was being investigated by the fire daimyo herself, but she hadn't nominated him for Hokage, and felt that he had stolen the position. He was currently under probation for that issue and more than half of his powers and the Hokage were gone while this investigation began. Damn it, why is this happening now of all times? He wondered as he tried to predict where the two possibly were. His village was getting impatient. They all ranted about wanted the demon's body and his protector's head. Danzo managed to keep the people from a frenzy, but he was losing control and fast. "I will find you, you can't hide forever," he said with a sadistic smile. Back in the town, in the hotel. Shizune, hurry up, Tsunade said as she dragged Shizune into the door and placed a soundproof seal on the space around them. They stood in the limited space and began their talk. Okay Tsunade-sama, what is wrong? Shizune asked with a fake confused look. Tsunade looked out the window and it seemed safe. You will not tell anyone about this, Tsunade said as she held up a fist. Shizune nodded instantly as she promised not to tell a soul, which she would have to. Tsunade put her fist down. I believe I am in love with Naruto, Tsunade said with a blush to her face. Shizune pretended to be shocked. She knew she was in love, but tried to keep up the act. Really Tsunade-sama, with Naruto? Shizune asked. Yeah, I have completely fallen for him, she said as her blush burned brighter across her face. Shizune, do you think it is wrong to feel this way? She asked as she looked at Shizune for an answer. Well Tsunade-sama, I am not sure. I am a little surprised though, Shizune said as she tried to play being cool. I tried to convince myself that it was impossible for us, but after what happened I don't know, Tsunade said to her. Shizune was surprised. She didn't know what happened beyond the talk. So what happened? She asked. Tsunade looked up at her and blushed. He kissed me, she said. Shizune blushed as she imagined Naruto and Tsunade kissing. Tsunade snapped her out of her daze as she continued. I might want a relationship with him, but I wonder about it, she continued. My heart aches for him and his aches for me, but something is keeping me from him and I don't know what, Tsunade said as she ended her speech. Shizune processed the information and began to speak. Tsunade-sama, I believe that love holds no bounds between people. I also believe that if two people love each other enough for their hearts to ache for each other, then they should be together. The only thing holding you both back is each other, Shizune said as she sat on the bed. Tsunade looked at Shizune in understanding. She knew Shizune was right. She loved Naruto and he loved her, so why weren't they together? Tsunade thanked Shizune and ran off to find Naruto. Shizune smiled as she laid in the bed. Go get your happiness Tsunade-sama, said Shizune on the bed. Meanwhile with Naruto and Shikamaru, so mind telling me what happened between you two? Shikamaru said as he sat on the bed. Naruto was walking around the room back and forth trying to gather his thoughts. Shikamaru, I love Tsunade, Naruto said to Shikamaru. He gasped though he already knew about it. I don't know why I do, but before I knew it I began to love her presence as she wormed her way into my heart, he said as he continued to talk. I can't distinguish between what's right and my own feelings, he said as Shikamaru nodded. Why don't you just tell her that you like her? Shikamaru said bluntly. I think I made my feelings clear twice when I told her and when I kissed her, Naruto said with a blush. Shikamaru almost choked on those words. Are you serious? He asked for confirmation. Naruto nodded. He sighed. So troublesome. Look Naruto, I don't have the answer for you, but all I can say is that you should follow what your heart believes. No one can't tell you who to give your heart to. I personally won't care if you and Tsunade dated. If you are happy then I'm alright with it, he said Naruto. Naruto seemed happy to hear those words as he looked at Shikamaru. What if she doesn't return my feelings? He asked a little sad. The Naruto I know would keep fighting until he got her to love him, Shikamaru said with a smile. Naruto's face lit up in understanding. That's right, he was Naruto Uzumaki. He never backed down from a problem. He would confront any obstacle that he faced. He would get Tsunade to love him. He just knew he would. Thank you Shikamaru, that's right, screw what other people think. I love Tsunade-chan and she is going to be mine, he said as he ran out the door to find Tsunade. Man, well that wasn't as troublesome as I thought, Shikamaru said with a smile on his face as he laid on the bed. Go get your happiness, Naruto, he said as he fell asleep on the couch after 20 minutes of random searching. Both Naruto and Tsunade found each other at the entrance of the hotel. Both saw that the other was looking for them as they wiped the sweat from their faces. Naruto walked up to Tsunade and Tsunade walked up to Naruto. They both looked in each other's eyes for 5 minutes before talking. "Hey you," Tsunade said with a smile. "Hey yourself," Naruto said with a smile. "Sorry, but cliffhanger of doom. Find out about these growing feelings tomorrow." Thank you for watching.